One of the most common questions I get asked in my office may actually surprise you. It's not questions like, what do I need to do to get strong on my pelvic floor? Or what can I do to stop peeing my pants? Or, Becky, how can I be just as amazing as you? It's actually, can men do kegels too? Well, I'm here to answer that question today. Hi, I'm Becky. Welcome to Wellness in the Pelvis. I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist and a mom, and I'm here to help you understand more about your body, especially when it comes to your pelvic floor. Today, we're going to talk about men and Kegels. Let's shed some light on what's going on down there. So, why is it then that men can do Kegels, but we don't hear about it, and that it's women that are the ones that are trained to think about their pelvic floors? Well, there are some anatomical reasons as to why men may have a bit of an advantage with their pelvic floors, but not because of muscle strength, but actually because of their organs that actually lead them to have less issues like urinary incontinence that then lead women to talk about Kegels, because that's usually the number one reason why people talk about pelvic floor exercises or Kegels is because of urinary incontinence or just urinary issues in general. The two biggest reasons I can think of why men don't have to worry so much about doing pelvic floor exercises are because they have a longer urethra. The urethra is what connects the bladder to the outside world, and so it's basically a hose. Men's are about 10 times longer than women's. They have a much longer hose. So they've got a different kind of pressure system that allows things like bladder issues to be at bay because they're able to work with that pressure system. And then the other thing is that men have what's called a prostate. And we can get into what a prostate is in other episodes, but essentially what it does is it is right beneath the bladder. So if the bladder's here, the prostate's right beneath it in a man. And it acts almost like another sphincter, keeping that urethra or that hose closed. And so women don't have that. It's just the bladder, urethra, outside. We don't have that prostate in the middle. Now, as a pelvic floor physical therapist, we absolutely treat men with pelvic organ issues. Even though men have an equal advantage in some ways, it can end up being a disadvantage in others in the long term. They have to use their muscles for the first time pretty much in their whole life. They're exercising muscles that have never been exercised before. Imagine running a marathon and you've never even put on running shoes. You've never even gotten off the couch and you have to go run a marathon? That would be impossible. Prostate or no prostate, longer urethra, shorter urethra, are they still good for men? Of course. Exercising is good for you in general. So yeah, you should exercise. Now, for what reasons should men exercise their pelvic floor compared to women? They're pretty similar, but a couple different caveats. But this number one thing is probably the most compelling reason why men should absolutely exercise their pelvic floors. It can help with the quality of your erection. And who doesn't want that? Exercising your pelvic floor, or any muscle in general, helps improve the strength and mobility of whatever the muscles attach to. You have muscles that attach to the penis. And so if they are strong, it will help with your erection. And also, of course, keeping a strong pelvic floor is important to maintain good bladder and bowel health. Keeping good tabs on the health of your pelvic floor is really important to make sure that these sphincters that help keep things in when it's time to stay in and let things out when it's time to come out is crucial. And so it's not necessarily about having a super strong pelvic floor, but it's knowing how your pelvic floor muscles work. And we come across that men oftentimes don't even know how their pelvic floor works at all. And it can be really helpful in either instance, whether you're trying to keep things in or help get things out. So it definitely can help with bladder and bowel health. And so if men are coming in armed with this knowledge over the course of their lives, keeping these muscles strong, they're probably less likely to have issues late in their later years too. So once I teach my patients that yes, men absolutely can exercise their pelvic floor, the next question I get is, does it feel any different? People think of kegels, they think about squeezing their vagina. But really, if you think about how the pelvic floor muscles are oriented, they go from front to back like a hammock. And so they support all of the organs on the inside of your pelvis, the bladder, bowel, and sexual organs. So it's even with a female, it's not just around the vagina that you're strengthening your muscles, it's the whole pelvis. And so, yes, it will feel a little different compared to a man, but really they're pretty similar. So when a female engages her pelvic floor, she may feel a closure and a lift in the vaginal canal or in the vagina. And a man may feel a constriction or a shortening of the penis or even a lift of the scrotum. But equally so, male versus female, you may also feel kind of a tightening around the anal opening. It kind of depends on how you engage your pelvic floor. And we're going to actually talk about that more in my next video, so get ready for that. If you're still not sure how is a Kegel supposed to feel or how is exercising my pelvic floor supposed to feel, definitely watch some of the older videos in the series. It will help you understand more about what a pelvic floor contraction is, how it's supposed to feel, and how to actually do these exercises. Still have questions about men and Kegels? Let me know down below. This is barely even scratching the surface. I can't even see the scratch, it's so tiny. I mean, honestly, between 25 to 30% of the population that I treat are men. So it is definitely common for men to have pelvic floor issues too. Don't worry about that like or subscribe thing. It's not really my thing either. I'm just here to help you learn more about your body. If that's something you're into, watch more videos. Hey, thanks for coming. I'll see you next time. Bye.